Do you want to learn how to make classic chewy fudgy brownies that are just simple to make and not a lot of fuss? You've come to the right place. Here are your ingredients, but don't worry, there will be a link below that will include nutrition information and more details as usual. Begin with an 8-inch square pan. That's 20 centimeters. If you don't have an 8-inch square pan, you can use a 9-inch. It'll just be a little bit thinner brownies. You want to line this with parchment or foil. I'll show you how to use foil. The easiest way is to flip the pan over and then just mold it onto the pan like I'm doing here. And then just flip the pan back over and put it in place. If you have a non-stick pan, you can skip this step altogether. If you are using the foil, the next thing you want to do is grease it lightly with some oil, or you can use your butter wrapper and just spread it around. This just helps it peel off easier whenever you're done baking. Preheat that oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius, and let's get started. In a small bowl, we're going to put 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, 20 grams, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 grams, and add it into our flour, which is 1/2 cup flour or 75 grams. Mix this briefly until it looks like this. The next step can be done on the stovetop or microwave. You're going to take 1/2 cup of butter or margarine, 113 grams, and add 1/2 cup of chocolate or 113 grams. That's 4 ounces each. You want to stir this continuously over a very low heat, the lowest heat on your stovetop, until it's completely melted. Now, if you want to use the microwave, heat it up 20 seconds at a time, stir it for at least 5 to 10 seconds, and continue until it's completely melted. Once you see some streaks of butter like this, you can go ahead and turn off the heat. It will finish melting on its own. The next thing you want to do is add in your sugar. I'm using 1/4 cup brown sugar, 56 grams, and 1/2 cup of white sugar, 100 grams. The brown sugar gives a chewiness to the brownie. If you don't have brown sugar, you can replace it with white sugar, and you could put in like maybe a tablespoon of honey or some syrup, and that will help replicate that chewiness, or you can leave the syrup or honey out completely. Next, we're going to add in 1 full egg, 50 grams, and 2 egg yolks, 40 grams, and then some vanilla, which is 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters. Now, if you don't want to use egg yolks, which gives a richness to the brownie, just replace it with 1 full egg. So you'll want to use 2 eggs instead of 1 egg and 2 egg yolks. Stir this until it's well combined. It takes you about 20 seconds or so. Now, if you were heating this and your mixture was a little bit hot, let it cool down before you add in those eggs. Finally, we're going to add in that flour mixture we made earlier, and we're just going to mix it until you no longer see any flour or cocoa. This takes about a minute by hand. When it comes to the chocolate that you use, I will leave that completely up to you. If you like Dutch cocoa, use that. If you like the regular cocoa that you find everywhere in the store, use that. Use generic. When it comes to the chocolate, if you like bar chocolate, that is great. If you like the chocolate chips that you find in the baking aisle, that works too. This is all about what you want and what you find good in a brownie. So if you don't like bittersweet chocolate, don't use bittersweet chocolate when you like milk chocolate. That's the key to the perfect brownie, using the chocolate that you like best. You may have noticed that there's no baking soda or baking powder in this recipe, and that is what makes a brownie. Basically, a brownie is a cake without rising agent. I like to think that they may have been created by some baker who accidentally forgot to put in that baking powder, and then they realized that this was an actually delicious mistake. They were chewy, fudgy, dense, and just absolutely beautiful. And you want to bake these 25 to 30 minutes. You want to look for the edges to be separating from the pan, and you will see a crack form around the edge like this. You also can check the center with a thermometer, and you would reach between 200 to 210 Fahrenheit or 93 to 93 degrees Celsius. This step isn't absolutely necessary. Let them cool completely before you remove the foil or the parchment paper. Gently peel it away and then cut them into 16 squares. And you may need to wipe off the knife in between cuts. As you can see, it sticks really good. Look at how fudgy and delicious these brownies look. You don't have to underbake them like a lot of people will tell you. They're absolutely delicious just as they are. Now let's talk about portion control. This was 1960, this was 1980, and this is a disturbing trend I'm seeing on YouTube today. When People want to lose weight. You just have to watch your portions. In 1960, you would get a brownie that was around 61 calories. 1980, 136 calories. And today, you're getting a brownie served to you that is about 242 calories. Now, you may not want to go back to the 1960 portions, but just be aware of that when you're cutting out your brownies. If you want to eat healthier, still eat what you want, just eat smaller portions. And that's all you have to do. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Visit us at jacksonsjob.com. And as always, happy baking.